People, it was Halloween yesterday, but the horror show continued today. Oh my Lord, I do not know where to begin, but this is going to be a very interesting match reaction, people. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is your match reaction. Brighton 3, Leeds United 0. There's so much to go into in this one. Before I forget, because I will forget at some point, gotta be grateful to the people that support this channel. Wilf, Hyru, Mr. P, thank you for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. Lord, guys, that was just horrendous from minute 1 to the finish. Just from everyone, the manager, the players, everything was bad in that game. I don't think it could have gone more wrong if we tried. Maybe Brighton could have scored a couple more goals, but Brighton today have kept a clean sheet. Something they haven't done in I don't even know how long. But yeah, it's a bad one today. And listen, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, man. Oh man. D Parker in the house showing up to like the reaction because I'm afraid there was nothing to like in this game. There wasn't. There was nothing to like in this game. Not one thing. Okafor, probably the highlight of our whole team today. Everything else was bad. And listen, we do the cool down tomorrow, and that's when we get into Daniel Farke's comments and everything else like that. But even I don't know what he's going to pick from this, because in previous losses where we have been a little bit more competitive than this today, he's been talking about other ancillary stats that just don't matter than the one that you're seeing on the screen right now. But if we scroll down, people, we got battered today. It was a schooling today. We got schooled by Brighton. Hertzler and Brighton schooled us today. They outshot us. They had more possession. They had more passes that were progressive. And I need to make that clear because the numbers don't tell you how the passes were for them. They were progressive passes today. Their accuracy, they took us to school today. They put us to bed. And it looked like we had no plan except for sit back and admire Brighton today, because I mean, especially for the first 15 minutes, we couldn't get near him. I was watching the game saying, please, somebody touch the ball. You know, if you're not going to touch the ball, someone just smash into him. As Roy Keane would say, just, you know, to make yourself feel a little better. We were doing nothing. And Brighton were, listen, they were full value for their win today. But the difference in terms of what we was speaking about in the preview and in the preview yesterday, if we had won this game, we would have jumped above them. But this game here looks like it would have given them all the confidence in the world to now go on a little run, because we were just horrendous. Horrendous, man. Chaska here. People thought because we beat a rubbish West Ham team, we were safe. Yeah, all it was for me with this, and I'm more upset with the performance than I am the result, because if we're being truthful, I did not expect us to win today. But I was hoping that we could follow it up against West Ham, because if we have any chance of survival this season, people, we've got to be a little bit consistent, because this isn't going to do it. These kind of things where we get in a win here and then going on a winless streak, that doesn't keep you up in this division. It won't. And this kind of performance, I don't know what this does to the confidence of the players. Yeah, Farke, the tactical setup was just poor. But he's also got to give up with a couple of players and give other people a chance in the next game against Forest. Has to be done. Has to be done. Zaya here, the record away at Brighton is embarrassing. Well, I was going to bring this up, and this is a beautiful segue, Zaya. LUFC data put this out in terms of this. Leeds have never gone 8 away league games without scoring a goal against a single opponent. Well, we have now. Leeds have played over 650 minutes of football at the Amex Stadium without scoring against Brighton. Something's got to give eventually. Will LUFC data load this stat up for next season? Or maybe not, because we didn't score. So add another 90 plus minutes onto those minutes of football, people. The last goal we scored at Brighton, people, it was Michael Brown. that shows you how long ago it was. So let me just get a couple of super chats. Tyler, I swear, Tyler, you're a Chelsea fan. Long day, but chill out, mate. Listen, it will be fine, man. It's okay. I didn't expect too much, but I can't say I'm very, very disappointed with that performance today from a lot of people. Hyru in the house as well. Pathetic performance. Couldn't make the simple passes. Nope. Couldn't cross the ball. Longstaff was awful. I'm starting to question why we signed Perry. His kicking is bad and he can't play from the back, yet we continue to do it. Hyru, I'm surprised in the bulk of your super chat here that Perry got most of the smoke. I really am, because Perry, yeah, it wasn't a great outing for him today. You can see 3 goals. It's never a good outing for a goalkeeper, but there are so many people you could have put the smoke towards. Now, listen, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Mike's saying here, the only positive is we will not be in the bottom 3 going into the next international break. Let's get into the team today and the setup. Guys, the setup today was atrocious. Okay? It is sometimes football, it's a simple game. It doesn't need overcomplicated ways of explaining things. We were atrocious today. And the one time Brighton had their way and they were threatening on goal for like the first 15, 16 minutes. They were knocking on the door. And then we break forward one time, and we're going to get into Calvert-Lewin again, because I'm waiting for the DCL Avengers to come at me again for today. And I'll have a little defense for him. But then there was opportunities for this guy in the team that we are to be a little bit more efficient up front, and he didn't deliver. But after 16 or so minutes, we actually went forward with Bogle on the right-hand side. Now, this won't get registered because he didn't get anywhere near the ball, but Bogle put a nice ball across the 6-yard box. Calvert-Lewin jinxed his run. He stopped running instead of keep on going forward for it, and he's slow. He is so slow, people. He's almost looking Bamford slow. There was another point in the second half where he was by himself, and that's unacceptable, but we were defending deep. He was by himself. But whereas you looked at Krupa Jr. last week, people, where he ran through, he got on the end of a loose ball, ran past the defender, hit it from 20 yards. Calvert-Lewin looked like he was stuck in mud against Lewis Dunk. And I've already said yesterday, Lewis Dunk has slowed down. Calvert-Lewin was bad there. He loses possession. He then gets it back and takes a pot shot. Not mad at the pot shot, but like many of his shots, it went off target. That's Calvert-Lewin. But no, there'll be people in here telling me, nah, but Cage, did you see the way that he held that ball at one time? Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely, Cage. Nah, it isn't lovely. We need a striker that's scoring goals. The worst thing for me is that he then comes off and Metra is the one to replace him. If you want to give Metra an ounce of credit, he was the one that gave us our first shot on target in the 85th minute, then followed by Stack, who gives us our second one of the game. But Metra coming on before, it tells you everything, that Peru needs to be sold in January while his value is still high, so we can get someone else that can actually be the number 1 striker at the football club. But at this point, it does look like Farke is loving DCL for all the stuff that people seem to appreciate these days, besides the striker scoring goals, crazy stuff. But we need another striker that he can depend on, because Metra needs to be loaned out to Sweden, Greece, Turkey, wherever he needs to go. They need to rectify that transfer come January, people. Now, here's one going on to more poor performances, because we can go on, people. We can go on. Ampadu, far worse than Longstaff and Tanaka. They were all bad. It's a tie. You see the first game against Everton where Tanaka, Ampadu, Stack were vying for man of the match in that one, where they were all just excellent. Today, they were all bad for so many reasons. I think Ampadu, if I'm going to be fair to him, in the second half got a bit better, but the first half he was atrocious, and he was a reason for a couple of turnovers. He started way too slow. Longstaff, this is what you're going to get with him. You know, he's getting player of the month things here. He's got a limited skill set, and when it doesn't come off, he is a very basic footballer. And the set pieces today were absolutely, they stunk. That's one of his strengths that he's given to us this season so far, so I'm going to give him credit for that. But in this game, Longstaff, he was terrible. Tanaka, he kept going back. Every time he got the ball, he took 2-3 touches and he went back. And maybe there's something in it with what he said last week with his confidence of not feeling like he's at the level. He shouldn't be feeling like that, because if anyone's going to get us forward, it's that guy. But that was not it today. Tanaka kept on going back. So when we did have a midfield substitution, it could have been anybody. It literally could have been anybody. It could have been anybody that came off. Matt saying here that's because of the manager's tactics. Well, of course it is. Of course it is the manager's tactics. When it goes right, the manager gets all the credit in the world. When it goes wrong, it's never the manager, but it was the manager in the setup today. It was the exact same team as last week. People, obviously, Brighton are a better outfit than West Ham, but we didn't look anywhere near it today. Anywhere near it. Let the midfield three, Aronson. The one thing you did right, because this is how poor we were today, people. I can kind of remember everything someone did okay. When we was under a lot of pressure in the final third, he won a free kick, which Longstaff then put it into the stand where a Brighton fan was having a blast catching the ball. But that's the one thing Aronson did. There wasn't much else that he did today. So we didn't get West Ham Aronson this week like we was talking about. We got more Burnley Aronson this week. So now his place is under jeopardy. It should be in jeopardy next week, but it won't be. Wouldn't boat me. But it won't be, will it? Who else? Okafor for me was the shining light of the game. We need this guy to get up to 90 minutes fitness, though. That's important. Again, I think by the time he got subbed off anyway, the game was done and dusted. I don't think it really mattered, but we're going to need him to be fit for 90-minute matches, because if anyone is going to make the difference, it's him. Nanto obviously couldn't make the trip today. He's another one that could potentially give us a bit of difference in the final third, but Okafor was the most dangerous. Although I will say there was one point where he could have played it to Goodmanson on the outside, and Goodmanson may have put in a cross for DCL to try and get his head on, but instead he went back inside and put it across. So yeah, but overall today, Okafor, and listen, it's a very low bar. He was probably our best player. All right, he was probably our best player. Rodon today, you guys know me. I love Joe, but it wasn't a great performance today. And even he was getting annoyed towards the end. He was starting to lash out a bit. He was starting to lose a bit of the professionalism that we know that he's got, but he was getting frustrated, and it was showing towards the end of the game. He's lucky, I don't know if he got a booking or not, but it was just a bad performance overall. But Goodmanson today, have to say, poor, very, very poor today, and probably at fault for two of the goals. Was nowhere near his man for the first one. Was it the second one or third? Who cares? It was the second one. Second one again, got done easily as well. Yeah, Jorginho actually got the one. Bogle, poor today as well. They were all bad, people. Honestly, I could say this for absolutely everyone. It was just an absolutely woeful performance from everybody. Everybody. Bogle was poor. They were all poor. Tintin, too many mediocre players, I'm afraid. Well, this goes back to the thing of what I've said with this football team. Enjoy the highs, enjoy the victories when we get them, people. But in order for this thing to work with this group of players, they all have to give at least 7 to 8 out of 10. All of them. We don't have the talent in this team. And if there's anything that proves that today, it was Brighton, who have been indifferent this season. They've been very inconsistent. Before today, they were 3-3-3 in 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. They've lost the previous 2. But today, you would have thought they were coming in off the back of a 5-game run. They were just brilliant today. And they absolutely showed the difference between the technical levels of what they've got in comparison to us. Georgie was magnificent today as well, by the way, people. He was brilliant. And he was doing the thing that Farker doesn't like. He was embarrassing the opposition. Don't embarrass them, Georgie. Well, he was embarrassing us, because the amount of times he turned away in midfield and created space was brilliant. By the way, also as well, the deep block that we was having was pointless, because Brighton, for I would say maybe 6-7 times, they went through and had oceans of space to operate, oceans of space. So even though we was in a mid to low block, they were brilliant, and they were pressing us from the front, and they had our pants down today, people. It sometimes football doesn't, like I say, it doesn't have to have complicated analogies or analysis about it. They just outclassed us today, all over the pitch, all over it. We had no answers for him. Jorginho, he'd easily be our best player. I mean, that's not even up for debate, Jack. There is no one in this team that has the talent that Jorginho has. Not one of them in this team. And you know me, people. I get accused of it, of loving Tanaka. He doesn't come close to Jorginho in terms of talent. And Georgie's only going to get better. And we saw a bit more of that today. Big part in the third goal, poor from Bogle when he tried to get it down. Georgie gets in, and their player, I can't even remember who scored their 2 goals for them. Diego Gomez. Yeah, that's him. But that's where we are. That's why, and again, I go back to things I've said previously. When we lost that playoff final against Southampton, we would have gone up with such a good base at that time. Where we had Archie Gray, we had Somerville, we had Jorginho. It would have just taken other pieces, like the pieces we bought this summer, the meat and potatoes of the team. It would have complemented all of the beautiful style that we had, and then you get the hard workers behind them. Whereas we lost those players, we go for all these hard workers over the summer, but as you see, people, when it doesn't come off, they look awful because they're not great. They're not great. Taylor here saying here that Perry saved us from embarrassment. He's a top goalkeeper. Yeah, that's why I'm surprised with Hyru, man. I'm surprised you had so much smoke for Perry. And it's not to say he was great. I'm really saying that he's not. You know, it wasn't a great performance, but he did make a few saves that kept the score down. You know, this could have been even worse. And I want to just show you as well, because we've spoken about goal difference and how crucial it could be, and the disappointment it would be to get relegated on goal difference. By Brighton scoring that 3rd goal at this moment in time before everyone else has played, they moved up to 15 points, obviously, but because of whatever it is, they've jumped over Villa and Liverpool because they didn't just beat us 1-0, because they got 3rd goal. They've jumped over all those teams. That's how important goal difference is going to be. Ian saying Farker will go on about how even the game was at 50%. Well, we're going to get into those tomorrow. We get into Farker's comments tomorrow. I always like to leave it a day and just go through it then. You know, we'll see what he says. Ryan here saying same goal difference as Ipswich this time last season. Ryan, is that true? Oh man, is that true? Oh God, I hope not. I hope not. One thing we want to be thankful for, people. Let me just quickly go into some other results today. You want to be thankful to Man United because they got a not last minute, but they equalized pretty late on. So Forest didn't collect all 3 points. Imagine going up against Forest after they beat Man United next week. You don't want that, but you know, that's a good point for them at home, especially in the position they're in. Brentford lost, which is good for us. We need Brentford to lose. Burnley lost against Arsenal. I mean, that's just, you know, standard, isn't it? And Fulham, you know, that's what we probably didn't need. We'd have probably done with Fulham and Wolves drawing, but Wolves are just absolutely hopeless at this point in time. And at this moment in time, they've probably got the 20th place locked down. But it's starting to get sticky, people. It's starting to get a little sticky now, and we're avoiding the bottom 3. My thing is, if we do drop into that bottom 3, I think it's going to be hard for us to get out of it. I think it's going to be very hard just from a mental state as well. At this moment in time, while Forest is still in the position they're in, it's good, but you can already see under Dyche, they're going to improve. They are going to improve. So it's absolutely huge, Mike. You know, this is it as well. We lost against Burnley away. We still need to collect those missing 3 points for me. And I'm going on the basis of, I look at games where I think that we can win. The West Ham game was one. We've done that. But we lost 3 points against Burnley because that's a game that both teams would have been thinking they can win. They come out with a comfortable 2-0 win. We need to get points from an unexpected game. Forest today getting a point against Man United. You know, other teams getting points against teams that they wouldn't expect. We've got to do that as well. But it's looking unlikely because whenever we've come up against a team of actual quality, we come in unstuck. Sean here seemed to be letting in 2 most games now. Yeah, apart from the West Ham one, that's the outlier at the minute. And by the way, the first goal, and get your thoughts on it. We seem to be doing that a lot. Goodmanson was at fault for not following his man. But once that ball gets cut across, we seem to always have like 3 or 4 bodies in the box, just not doing anything. Like no one's marking anybody. They're just in the box waiting for something. Like they're waiting just to clear the ball, but no one's actually following their man. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I've noticed that on quite a few goals we've conceded over the last few games. Chris announced, what's going on? Oh, Chris has had a stinker today. My daughter lost 6-0 today. My son lost 4-0. Leeds lost 3-0. Great day. Well, there you go. Or they come in threes. They come in threes, don't they? Mike here, you notice that? Yeah, I mean, I've just said that. Yeah, they're very easy goals to concede, and that's a bad habit. We got to get out of that. You know, West Ham is one thing, but they are also awful. But you can only beat what's in front of you. But you saw today with a bit of movement and a bit of technique and a bit of skill, we had no answer for Brighton. Had nothing. Taylor, front three should be Okafor, Peru, Nanto next week, in my opinion. Thoughts? Yeah, I would. You know, the only reason I kept DCL in my predicted 11, first of all, because I knew Farker wasn't going to change a winning team. That's the one. But also, I thought if DCL is going to get any joy at any point in Premier League games, it's going to be against an aging Lewis Dunk, who is probably a weak link in the Brighton back line. Dunk handled him today. Dunk absolutely had him today. DCL, this is one of these things, again, where I always call out unfairness, especially when it comes to this fan base. If Joel Peru had the game that DCL had today, you guys would be killing him today. Oh, yeah, he's too slow. He can't get past Lewis Dunk. Oh, look at the shot that he had way off target. Oh, look at him stop running for the ball Jaden Bogle put in. But he won't get spoken about because it's DCL. And for some reason, he's getting a lot of slack from this fan base in general. And I don't understand why. I honestly don't get it. He's a nice guy. Maybe that's it. This football club and the fans seem to love nice guys these days. Then he suggested Noah Lang coming to the club. Oh, nah, too arrogant. He believes in himself too much. But DCL, he's getting a free ride at this minute. And it's not free because it's costing 100,000 a week. So he needs to do more. He needs to do more. And yeah, Chris, Peru is our best striker, says so much. Absolutely. But again, that goes back to the summer recruitment and everything else. But I don't believe in this club to correct their mistakes because they don't like admitting mistakes. Mecha needs to be on the first thing smoking to Qatar. I don't care where he goes. He needs to go on loan in January and get in a real striker. It's pointless. As soon as DCL came off for Mecha, I felt like we've just gone down to 10 men, honestly. David saying here because he's Bamford Mark II. Yeah, probably why. Yeah, injury record, poor goal scoring record. Yeah, they probably just think he's Bamford reincarnated, isn't it? Yeah, probably so. Ryan here. If we lose at Forest, it's sweating time for the run we have after. Well, hey, we're here. Let me go into it. I'm right here. So there we are at this point in time, people. 16th in the table. Let's get into it while we're here. We'll go into it another time as well. But Ryan's correct. If you were going to steal points, it was going to have to be one of the next two. Forester next Sunday, people. That's got to be one where we get points. Yeah, Nick, I would, but I just know it's not going to happen because they've made a big investment in him and Farker loves him. That's not going to happen. But if I had my way, people, honestly, people wouldn't like the way I run this football club because I would do it on talent. Okay, I don't care if you don't shake kids' hands after the match. If you're performing on the pitch, you're in my team. And people wouldn't like that. Oh, he's an asshole. Don't like him. But yeah, we've got Forest next, and then after the international break, it's sticky icky. Villa at home, that's going to be tough. Man City away, good luck. And then Chelsea at home. And even though Chelsea are up and down, people, we are not in that category of going, you know what, we can take advantage of them. They may be looking at this one where we go, this is where we get back on track. And if you want to just go a little further, we've got Liverpool at home. So, yeah, it's a real tough one. And these are the two games that we have before the break where we had to target a win. We had to. It was important to do so. Maybe we can get it at Forest, but I would have had much more confidence, whatever our form would have been. And I mean this sincerely. Even if we had lost 3 in a row, going to Forest with Ange Postecoglou, I think we could have got something. With Sean Dyche, it's a bit different. It's a bit different, man. What is everyone else saying? Yeah, J-Dog must win Forest, absolutely. Jack saying here could be 2026 before we pick up a win. Listen, people, honestly, we know it's been bad, but you saw, just look at the two teams that you saw today with the way Brighton moved the ball, the way that they move forward. The difference in levels when you go up against a team with that kind of quality compared to us and then not struggling teams, it's night and day. That is why everything has to go. And when Farker is implementing these deep tactics, I understand to a certain point, but it's that thing again. We've said it even in the championship. 2, 3, 4 touches. Everyone's taking so many touches and allowing the opposition to get back into shape. We're not going to do anything with that at this level. It works against Plymouth. It works against Bristol City. Once again, sorry to those two teams that I always mention when I do this, but it's not going to work against a Brighton, and that was seen today. Vanilla Coffee, we made Brighton look good. Yeah, listen, they are good, but we made them look much better than their recent form suggests. That I would say that. This is, I mean, this is, you don't think we can get something away at Man City? Remember Stuart Dallas. I also remember as well that was a no fan stadium season. Bamford got 17 goals that year. What does it matter? To me, that season, I don't count that season when it comes to and it sounds harsh. I don't count it. It wasn't real football, man. And listen, it was a great result for the time, but I don't look back at that result and go, oh, remember that 2-1 Dallas thing? I just don't. I remember ones like 3-2 against Newcastle in 1999 better than I do for the Man City away one with no fans. It wasn't real football to me. But if you want to go on to that one, if you want to hold on to that, I can also say as well, we also lost 7-0 there with fans in attendance. So there you go. Yes, exactly, Paul. There you are. We also lost 7-0 there. So there you go. Work on those. Oh, Ian. Yeah, again, points not being made here. Great point, Ian. Brighton had so many players out injured today. They did all that without Mitoma as well. No Mitoma, no Veltman at the back. You know, it's bad. It's bad. But listen, Martin, I don't want to talk about even. I think I'm going to finish there because we will come back tomorrow, people. I don't know if it's going to be live or recorded. Just keep an eye on the channel. And we'll get into Farkas' comments and additional things that we may have missed or additional thoughts on the game today if you've got them. But like I say, put your thoughts in the comments as well. Try and keep them sensible if you can. I know it's always disappointing after a win, after a loss. And yeah, please like the video as well. Please like the video as well. But listen, don't let it get your Saturday down. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, all right? I don't think I've got anything else today. Nah, we're good. We're good for today. Listen, people, I'll see you in the next one. Like the video before you go. Peace out.